So it's right back to the Emerald Coast for our second video of the day, and of course in the earlier video we spent the majority of our time focusing on Banteng and saltwater crocs, and of course ended up getting our best kill so far, neither of those species, but a huge piebald sandbar deer. So what I want to focus on in this video is things like kangaroo, feral goat, maybe hog deer. I found a good number of them down there. So we're moving our way across the Saltfinger shore right now. By the way, that piebald sandbar was one of these 3 bits of hunting pressure here. Probably that one, it looks the most fresh. So I want to go down through here, just some unexplored territory, and see what we find. And that should bring us right to kangaroo territory. And already, our hunt has been derailed by a max estimate hog deer track, but like the other deer species on this map, max estimate tracks do not mean a whole lot. Back of the neck shots are still cool to make though, so we're not going to complain, but we now have seen, with our piebald sandbar, a pretty good sized sandbar stag. We've seen a pretty big rooster deer. One of our first ones was nearly diamond. We have not seen though, really an at all decent hog deer. I think maybe 1 or 2 level 4s, but really none that were that close to diamond, and I'd like to know just how big they're going to get. Like, even at that, a silver does not look bad. I've got to imagine one that's scoring 30 points higher would be considerably larger, and when I say the hunt's being derailed, I mean that in a good way. Especially ones like this where we're still kind of discovering the map, discovering species and all that. That's kind of the hope in passing through areas like this. So it was the idea, and it worked out in some sense, just a little bit smaller of a hog deer than I would have hoped for. And it took all of a couple of minutes to find another max estimate hog deer, but basically the exact same result. A level 3 that maybe is going to have a chance at gold. Managed either a back of the neck shot or a range shot again though. They don't trot terribly fast, so that shot's not too hard to make, and as a class 3 animal, that's one of those tough ones because fallow deer, for instance, or something of that size, even if you get a pretty bad quartering angle, usually something like the 308, 30-06, any of those types of calibers can punch through to a longer liver and get a vital hit. The 243 on something the size of a hog deer, you need a decently broadside shot, and when we can get instead those neck shot opportunities, at least so far, we've been able to land them. That is vital blood, and we did avoid the skull, just barely hit the jaw actually. I think it's like the exact same score though. 77 was in the area of the last as well. So basically the same size, but maybe a decent area to check for hog deer during their drink time. It almost have to be like here and here, but a couple of max estimate ones, that's gotta be a decent sign. But we've made it to the outback region of the map, and of course that is where we find the majority of the kangaroos. And I did want to mention, because I talked about this being kangaroo territory, we've encountered kangaroos on a lot of this map. They're really all over, but I definitely find the most of them to be down in here. So there was a level 7, and honestly with these things, because they do travel in such large groups, I could find it very easy to have a level 9 or maybe even a rare just somewhere within the group and not see it at first. So really taking our time and spotting things I think is going to be important, but I wanted to kind of try that from a distance with the 7mm and see what happens. And I don't know that any actually went aggressive for us, but we do have a potentially fun little aggressive kangaroo weapon today in the 10mm. I think it might be decent for him, and I don't know, I kind of want to see how it does. And by the way, there were more, but Sir 12 is indicating there is an aggressive roo somewhere. Just a matter of spotting it and seeing where it's coming from. Now, it's not a guarantee. Oh, it is coming from back there, a level 5. They all seem to be like the max weight estimate. Where did that hit? It looks like a vital hit. Not as quick as I would have thought to bring it down, especially because that was in fact vitals, but it got the job to look at that roll animation. I think that's the first time we've seen that. Ended up with a lung and vertebrae shot at 25 meters. Kind of would have hoped it would take it down a little bit more quickly, but I guess that wasn't too bad considering it was a sidearm. And I mean, that's what I'm talking about. Now, I don't know that it was necessarily in the group that we spotted, but the rest of the levels match up. Looking at like 300 meters, and they are just kind of an awkward species to, well, maybe an awkward species to make a shot like that on. That worked. Wherever we hit it, it dropped. And by the way, no tracking needed on the first one. Just so happens it was perfectly in line with where we were headed, and that was and a testing shot, so I wasn't really sure exactly what the angle was, and good to know that's basically never gonna work. If they're laying facing away from you, you're just not going to punch through to the lungs, so worth a try. And it got that one to go aggressive, which was kind of the hope, just it happened to be not one of the ones that we were looking at. But let's see how we pulled this off, because it was Vital Blood, like 300 meters away. Ended up with a neck shot, so we were still too far forward, and therefore the point still stands. It's just an awkward shot to make, especially at range when they're moving. I mean, you see the way that it was posed kind of when we took that shot. Had it gotten another half a step in, that lands in the lungs, but timing that just right is really, really tough. So I think for the most part, whether it's a rare or a level 9, which based on what we saw, I think 2 videos ago, level 9s might not be that uncommon. Diamonds seem to be, but I think we may see a lot of legendaries. But either way, when those sort of things show up that we really want to make a shot on, I think getting in close, potentially alerting them to get them to kind of stand up and look at us, probably is the smart way to go. And yet again, we've got an aggressive kangaroo, and an opportunity to use our Glock yet again for some kangaroo defense. So I may let this one try to attack us and try to catch it mid-jump. We'll see what happens. Gonna have to time this just right. Oh, I think we did too. And what did we hit? Because that shot felt high to me. It had to be just lungs. Really what I wanted to do... Oh, there's another one. What I wanted to do was get the harvest screen to have it mid-jump. Okay. Not a bad animation there. I don't know where it was going. But anyway, as we did that hip shot, it looked like we hit it up around the neck, which I guess its lungs are pretty high up. Hard shot there, by the way. First time we've done that, and it was facing away from us. But then the real question is, did we time this up just right? Oh, we did. That is pretty cool. Could have been just a tick later. Would have had its legs kind of in a more kicking pose. But it's in the wind up there. Not bad. Ended up being a gold as well, by a little bit. 2 meters away. Caught it right through the top of the lungs, so it was high. I wanted to, you know, make use of the 10 mil in several different ways. That one definitely qualifies. Man, we have another legendary kangaroo. And at least the estimate gives it a chance. 453 to 529, it may be the best estimate we've seen, I don't know. We had one into the 500s before that really was not even all that close. I don't know if he's going to stop out there. This is not one where I think we need to worry about the Glock. We'll definitely try to go with the 7 mil. And we learned last time too, the first one we shot with the 22-250, we messed up the shot, so gotta make sure we can get a good clean shot opportunity. We might be at the border of the map too, so it might just kind of end up coming back our way. He just went to nervous. Probably we should do what I talked about earlier. If we use the 22 here, just kind of shoot the ground beside him, he should stand up and hopefully give us a clean shot in the lungs with the 7 mil. I put the Argus scope on just for a little bit of a better view earlier, and that definitely helped us for that shot. Made it a lot easier to zero in on exactly where the chest cavity is. They're a different one, I guess, kind of like bears when they stand up. You just have to think about it a little bit more about how high up you actually have to aim. But this is legendary kangaroo number 3, legendary animal on the Emerald Coast number 4. We've been trolled 3 times. Maybe on the Emerald Coast the 4th time's a charm. Definitely got the vital blood, and of course for him to drop in his tracks, that would be what we'd expect. Man, that is the closest we've been. Still 8 shy. They've all been in that like 63 kilo range. 66 kilo is the max. We even hard shot him there. So close to getting a diamond. It's gotta happen eventually. But I talked about this, I think it was in the video earlier today. I do like that it seems like most, if not all, the new species, it's going to be genuinely challenging to get diamonds. And I could do without some of the trolls, and what I mean by that is if you just didn't see as many level 9 kangaroos, but the likelihood of getting diamond was the same, I would be just as happy with that. Getting trolled all the time can be a little bit annoying or frustrating, but at the same time, it's going to make the diamonds feel far more rewarding. And I'm a big fan of that. I like that it's making diamonds really a challenge. You know, if I had told you 2 days ago that we were going to have 4 trolls on the Emerald Coast and that we would spend any time at all in feral goat territory, you probably would have guessed 1, if not more, of those trolls would have been a feral goat. And what's crazy is not only have we not seen a level 5, we haven't seen any feral goats that are even really decent, and throughout this hunt, probably a dozen times or more, we've had opportunities to take a goat, and I've passed them up thinking, surely we're going to find a better one. It's not generally that hard to find a decent goat, but yet for whatever reason, thus far here on Emerald Coast, they've actually been the toughest max level animal to come across. We've seen, I would guess, hundreds, and instead it's crocs and kangaroos that we find level 9s of. But what I was hoping to accomplish in doing a bit of goat hunting was taking a look at some of the other furs, and I think this is maybe one of the only furs we've actually already seen in the blonde variation. I still think they look really good. You know, maybe we haven't actually shot one. I might be remembering just the fact that in the image we had, I think on Steam from Expansive Worlds, we saw the remodeled feral goats, and I think that was a blonde, so maybe this is a little bit new getting to see it in the harvest screen. Not too bad. I really want to see, I think it's the black-brown variation, though that may have to wait for another day. This was not really a part of the plan, but we do have a level 4 hog deer here, which I think will be our best one of the hunt. I was kind of hoping that maybe there would be some feral goats drinking at this lake. We have been here before, and we've definitely determined that it's one of the better hog deer lakes on the entire map. It's just this little one kind of on the northern end of the Dry Bone Plateau, but no feral goats in sight, and we might as well get a slightly better look at what a decent hog deer is compared to what we started the hunt with. This one should at least be a gold. He's an 87 score, so not bad, but still well below the diamond mark, so it's good to know, and I think we maybe have shot one bigger than this at some stage, but as we've kind of moved through the other deer species and going back and forth between stuff, honestly, these are still the ones I'm most excited to see, like a really trophy-sized one. But I think on that note, that's probably going to do it for this video. Trolled yet again here on the Emerald Coast, but honestly, a really fun hunt. Good to get to see all the kangaroos. We managed to shoot that one kind of mid-kick with the Glock, and maybe we've established a little bit of where to hunt for a couple more things. I really want to, at some stage, check out these couple of lakes for hog deer. Maybe that'll be next time, but we shall see when we get to that point. But anyway, that's going to do it for this video. So as always, thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you next time.